Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on Thursday morning. I hope all is well and you're enjoying your week. Fantastic night of football last night at the Euros, wasn't it? Well, that was some drama and a half, especially if you're an England fan. It was like, who the hell are we going to play? Started off Germany, Portugal, Hungary, Portugal, and then Germany again right at the end with that goal. Getting their 2-2 draw with Hungary. Hungary so unlucky, played so well. But England, Germany at Wembley next Tuesday. Wherever you're watching that around the world, it's going to be exciting. But right here in the UK, my word, that is one big event. And we're going to have about 45,000 in Wembley for it, which will be good. So looking forward to that one. I think we've got a breather from football tonight now. The group stage is over. I think today's a rest day. I haven't actually checked, but I presume it is, given that's the end of the group stages. But been a lot of fun, I have to say. Certainly taken away from the lull that normally goes when there's no football, sort of club football to look forward to. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun, the group stages. Hopefully the knockout stages will continue with that. And hopefully England beat Germany, but let's wait and see. Anyway, enough about the Euros. Let's talk about Arsenal, because let's face it, that's what you're here for, isn't it? You want to hear some stuff about Arsenal. We'll start with Martin Odegaard, who has been talking about his future. Now, a couple of days ago, I said that Arsenal hadn't totally yet given up hope of bringing Odegaard back next season. There were still talks ongoing with Real Madrid, although Arsenal felt it was looking more and more unlikely. They still hadn't totally closed the door on that happening. It looks perhaps now that door might firmly be closed. Martin Odegaard has been speaking about his future to Norwegian TV, I think it's TV2, and he said, look, Real Madrid have made it clear that they would like me back. So then it'll be time to go back there when the training starts up again. Of course, it has always been a dream to play there. I've been at the club for over 6 years, and that has always been the goal. I always want to play. I've said that all of the time. So it seems there that Martin Odegaard, certainly anyway himself, believes he will be playing for Real Madrid this season. I don't think those quotes absolutely, a lot of people, a lot of reports, online media have sort of used that as Odegaard definitely staying at Real Madrid. I don't see those quotes as definitely staying at Real Madrid. I see those quotes for now saying, look, Real Madrid want him back for the start of pre-season, which is understandable. He's a Real Madrid player. It's the same as Arsenal are going to want Matteo Guendouzi back at the start of pre-season, Lucas Torreira back at the start of pre-season, because it's just what has to happen. I don't totally, from reading that, think that means 100% he's going to be staying at Real Madrid. I think Real Madrid are going to get all their players back, and then they'll decide once pre-season starts what they're going to do, who they're going to sell, who they might be able to sell, who there is interest in, to try and raise the funds that they need to bring in some of their prime transfer targets this summer. It certainly does, though. It is appearing from the people you speak to at Arsenal, from what Martin Odegaard himself has said here, it's beginning to feel more and more likely now that he will be staying at Real Madrid for the coming season, which will be a bit of a disappointment to Arsenal and certainly Mikel Arteta. They did want to get Odegaard back this season. They were hoping last season they'd done enough to convince him that this was a club for him to make the move to. But I think the Zinedine Zidane leaving certainly put a big sort of wedge in that door for Arsenal to try and get Odegaard through, because it's just always going to be the case when a new manager came in, they might want to have a proper look at him. Obviously, Odegaard and Zidane didn't really see eye to eye. Zidane didn't give him too many opportunities. So had Zidane stayed, I think it's very, very likely Odegaard would have left potentially on a permanent basis. But now there's a new man in charge, then he's going to want to go back, and everyone's kind of got that fresh slate. And it means Arsenal are going to have to potentially certainly move on now and really start stepping up their attentions in bringing in another sort of number 10 stroke creative midfield attacking midfield player. If it's not going to be Odegaard, and I fully expect that they will bring someone in that position before the end of the transfer window. I've spoken before about the interest that they have in James Maddison. Will they now start to really firm that up and potentially put an offer in? We'll have to wait and see. He's certainly a player they're interested in. Nabil Fekir is a player that they've spoken about in the past. They've made contact with his representatives in the past, in the near past, but haven't firmed anything up with that and haven't really sort of pushed anything forward since that initial contact to find out what Fekir's situation is. So will they turn their attentions back to him again? Will they move for Houssem Aouar, player that they bid for last summer? We'll have to wait and see. Odegaard was always the priority. Now that appears the hope of that appears to be cut off, then it'll be interesting to see how quickly now they start making moves elsewhere to try and bring in this position, which is absolutely a priority for Arsenal. They know they've got Smith Rowe, but they need some help for Smith Rowe. They can't just go with him for the entire season as your playmaker, as your number 10. You need competition for that place. You've got to remember that Smith Rowe is very, very young. They've identified that. They know that's why it's a priority for them this summer, and I fully expect now that they will bring someone in that position. If it's not Odegaard, it's going to have to be someone else. Just quickly, finally, actually, before I turn my attention elsewhere, Odegaard continued when he was asked, have you spoken to Ancelotti? He said, no, not with him personally, but I've talked a lot with the club and had very close dialogue, so I feel they have a good overview. So he's clearly been in contact with Real Madrid during the summer ahead of pre-season, and they've told him that they want him back. So good luck to Martin Odegaard. If he's not going to be at Arsenal, then hopefully he has a good season with Real Madrid and really makes his name there for the first time since he moved there as a teenager. Okay, so from Odegaard, let's talk about Lucas Torreira now. It's an interesting one, this Lucas Torreira. It's a little bit sort of cloudy exactly what's going on. There's been reports that, he's pretty much done deal with Lazio and Lucas Torreira will be a Lazio player. Now, as far as I'm aware, that isn't absolutely the case. I think there's certainly interest from Lazio, and he's a player who's on their radar, on their agenda, but as far as I'm aware from Arsenal, talks are still sort of ongoing with Lucas, and the situation is that the club and him are both in agreement that he can leave this summer. They need to, and it's about finding a club that is going to take him and a club that's good for him. Now, as I said, Lazio, clearly there is some sort of interest there, but in terms of a deal being done and that sort of thing, I'm not sure we're at that position yet. I certainly haven't been told that Arsenal are, so I might be wrong. But as far as I'm aware, it's just a case of him and his representatives trying to find a situation that suits all parties. Lazio, a potential destination, yes, but it's not done yet. And obviously Torreira at the moment is away with in the Copa America, so I don't think we're at the position of basically being able to say done deal yet, and he'll definitely be a Lazio player. There's other clubs that are interested in him as well. And it's just going to be a case, I think, of waiting a little bit longer, waiting for the Copa America to finish. Then they'll really sort of step up, trying to find a new club for Lucas Torreira. But the situation, as I know it, is that he's free to leave. His agent's free to find him a new club. Torreira wants to leave and start afresh. He's made that very clear in his public comments he's made previously, anyway. And yeah, that is a situation that is ongoing. But as it stands, from what I'm told anyway, it's not absolutely a done deal or anything like that with Lazio yet, and we'll have to wait and see how that one progresses. But I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up going over and ending up as a Lazio player. But I don't think it's quite at that stage yet of being absolutely done. And the same goes with Matteo Guendouzi as well. I keep getting questions non-stop about Matteo Guendouzi, what's going on with him, and I can't really bring you too much more of an update of what I've said already. Fortunately, it's kind of similar to Lucas Torreira. It's just situation ongoing. It's very same position, club, player, understand that it's best for all parties if you move on this summer, and it's about the player's representative now finding himself a new club that can meet Arsenal's demands. And Marseille are very, very keen on Matteo Guendouzi. Talks are ongoing between the clubs. They have been for some time now, but yet they haven't reached an agreement in terms of value for the player and in terms of a potential structure of the deal for the player. So it's just a situation that is ongoing. Negotiations will continue. Arsenal have got a set price that they want for Matteo Guendouzi. Marseille haven't hit that yet. And it's, as I've said in previous videos, it's this big game of cat and mouse in the transfer window at the moment that not just with Guendouzi and Arsenal, Marseille, but everywhere you've got, because money's so tight, the buying club wants to pay as little as possible, and the selling club, because they want more money to spend elsewhere, they want as much as possible, and clubs just aren't meeting in the middle at the moment. It's very much a standoff, and it's a game of cat and mouse. Whoever you talk to in industry, agents, clubs, everyone's saying the same thing. So it'll be interesting if it takes one big deal to kick it off and everything then moves forward. We'll have to wait and see. But as it stands with Matteo Guendouzi and Marseille, not done yet. Clubs still talking. There's potential for him to go elsewhere. There's obviously been reports linking him with Benfica. Clubs in Germany, Dortmund have been linked with him as well. So Marseille haven't got that one over the line yet. And if they're going to do it, they're going to have to agree a price and agree a structure that suits Arsenal for a deal for Matteo Guendouzi. Although only has a year left on his contract, Arsenal have the option to extend that by a further year. So technically he's got 2 years left on his contract. contract, and it puts Arsenal in a much better position when it comes to demanding a fee for the Frenchman, who, let's face it, a couple of years ago, or at the end of that first season at Arsenal, they could have demanded a massive figure. Unfortunately, it's not going to be anywhere near as big as that now because of what's happened to him since then. And that's a bit of a disappointment. I get plenty of comments about and questions about Locatelli, the Italian midfielder. What's going on with him? Are Arsenal interested? Unfortunately, I can't really bring too much on that. All I know is that from sources over in Italy and from Romeo, who is our Italian reporter over at Goal, who's bang on it over there, saying that Juventus very interested in Locatelli, trying to get that deal done for him. Obviously, Sassuolo are happy to let him leave this summer for the right price. He's starring over there at the moment. In Euro 2020, scored those couple of goals in their second win, and from what I understand, he is most likely going to be a Juventus player next season. So I don't think he's going to be, for those asking, are Arsenal going to sign him? I don't think that is going to happen. It certainly appears from what I've been told and from what they're saying over in Italy that he is most likely going to be a Juventus player by the start of the coming season. A couple of potential departures now, maybe beginning to gather pace. Eddie Nketiah, a player who Arsenal have told is free to leave, and they're inviting offers for him. 1 year left in his contract. There were talks about extending that contract. Didn't really come to a successful conclusion, so Arsenal now looking to move the young forward on. Obviously, they've got Balogun to promote next season and to play a bigger part if they want him to. They've got Martinelli as well, still got Laka, still got Aubameyang. So Nketiah is not going to get much game time, and he is open to go. Being linked quite heavily at the moment to West Ham. Now, those of you who know West Ham or know West Ham Twitter know there's a Twitter account called ex-West Ham employee. Very much your ITK, very solid as well when it comes to West Ham information. Always one to trust when you see him talking about potential interest in a player. He says that West Ham are interested in Eddie Nketiah. We know there's been sort of clubs looking at him from Germany as well, and elsewhere. It's a case again of Arsenal finding the right sort of fee for Nketiah. Unfortunately, he's only got a year left in his contract, so that is not going to be a massive fee, even though he's young, English, has scored in the Premier League. You're talking 2 or 3 years ago, if you're a Liverpool, they'd probably end up getting about 30 million for Nketiah. Unfortunately, that isn't going to happen this summer with Arsenal. I don't know, maybe 10 million, 15 million at a push. We'll have to wait and see, but I think it's best for all parties now for Eddie to move on. Arsenal get some money in, and Eddie really looked to kick on his career now, and it'd be interesting. West Ham, so you kind of feel that it could be a decent move for him. I always think Brighton might be a decent move for Eddie Nketiah as well. They need a striker, need someone who finishes off chances, and let's face it, Eddie is a decent finisher when he gets an opportunity. I always kind of felt like that would be a decent move for him. It doesn't appear like he's going to be involved in any of the negotiations for Ben White or even Yves Bissouma if Arsenal ever eventually sort of firm up their interest and really make a move for the midfielder. So West Ham could be a decent destination for Eddie Nketiah. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. And lastly, we'll talk quickly about Hector Bellerin, again, who's in that same position of Arsenal allowing Bellerin to go this summer if the right club and the right price can be found for him. 2 years left on his contract. He's very open to a move away. He was last summer, decided to stay. Arteta convinced him to stay this summer. I think all parties are in agreement that it might be best for him to move on now, for Arsenal to look elsewhere when it comes to a right back, and for Bellerin to sort of try and breathe new life into a career that's really faltered since he's come back from that horrible injury. But he's been linked quite heavily at the moment to Inter Milan and potentially Atletico Madrid. Now, these seem to rest these deals on if these if these clubs sell their current right backs. Inter Milan, obviously they've got Hakimi, fantastic right back, done so well last season. He appears to be in a straight battle between Chelsea and PSG to move to those clubs. It seems like PSG are winning that race for Hakimi, and if they do sell him, that deal gets done, then they might well turn to Bellerin. He's on their list of potential replacements, and the same with Atletico Madrid when it comes to Kieran Trippier. If Trippier ends up going to Manchester United, who are after him, then Atletico and Diego Simeone interested in bringing Bellerin over to Madrid. So I think we're probably going to have to wait until a couple of transfers happen before that potential interest picks up. But certainly with Arsenal, you're looking at Bellerin as, if you sell him this summer, you want to get a decent price for him. He's only mid-20s, 2 years left on his contract, international player. I still think he's a good right back, despite him struggling a little bit since he's come back from the injury. I don't want to see Arsenal just giving Hector Bellerin away. You want to get as much possible money as you can for them, and certainly if Inter sell Hakimi for 60 million and Atletico sell Trippier for 40 million, then Arsenal needs to be taking advantage of that and trying to get as much possible as they can for Bellerin if one of those clubs do indeed come knocking and firm up their interest in the Arsenal right back. Right, that's about it for today's video. Thank you for watching as always. If there's anything you agree with, disagree with, want to say, as always, please do leave them in the comments below, and I always enjoy going through and seeing your opinion. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a very good day, and I'll speak to you soon.